Let's talk about stress. You know, it can feel like this huge, uncontrollable wave that just keeps crashing over you day in and day out. But what if I told you that you could learn to surf? That's really what we're digging into here. Not how to stop the waves, because that's impossible, but how to get your balance, get back on the board, and ride them.
I mean, does it ever feel like that? Like the bills, the deadlines, all the responsibilities are just closing in and you're stuck? If you're nodding along, you are definitely not alone. But the really good news is there is a way out. And it all starts with a pretty simple shift in how you look at things. And this quote right here, this is the whole foundation. Look, it's not about making stress magically disappear. It's about taking the wheel when it comes to your own thoughts, your actions, and your responses. It's about realizing you have way more power in this whole equation than you probably think.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to unpack the real problem with stress when it's left unchecked. Then, we'll get into how you can take back control. I'll give you an awesome toolkit called the 4 A's. We'll talk about building that long-term resilience, and then we'll figure out your very first step.
All right, first things first. Why should we even bother managing stress? Well, because when we let it run wild, we're basically putting our entire well-being at risk. And this goes so much deeper than just feeling stressed out.
What's so important to get is that this stuff is all connected. Chronic stress isn't just a mood thing, it's a physical health thing. It literally clouds your judgment, it drains your energy, and worst of all, it can totally steal your ability to just enjoy your life. And that's why just powering through it is not a real strategy.
Okay, so where do we even begin? We start by taking back control. And that kicks off with a simple but kind of profound shift. You need to become a detective of your own stress. We have to figure out the real source of it and then realize we always have a choice in how we respond.
So think about this for a sec. Is stress always something that happens to you? Or maybe, is it how you're reacting to things? One of the best ways to figure this out is to keep a stress journal. No, seriously, just jot down what stressed you out, how it made you feel, and what you did about it. You will be amazed by the patterns you start to see.
And this right here really lays out the choice we have in those moments. Over on the left, you've got the easy escapes, right? The stuff that feels good right now, but usually makes things worse down the road. And on the right, those are the things that actually build you up. They give you real strength. The goal isn't to be perfect. It's just to try and choose from the right-hand column a little more often.
So how do we make that choice a little easier? By having a toolkit ready to go. And this is it, the 4 A's of stress management. Avoid, alter, adapt, and accept. Think of this as your go-to game plan for stress.
The first A is avoid. Now hold on, this is not about hiding from your problems. Not at all. It's about being smart and getting rid of the stressors that you don't even need in your life to begin with. It's all about proactive prevention.
And here's what that can actually look like. Learning to say no is a genuine superpower. So is realizing that if the 24/7 news cycle is making you anxious, you have the power to just turn it off. It's about getting real with your to-do list and fiercely protecting your own peace.
But what about the stuff you can't avoid? Well, that brings us to our second A, alter. This one is all about taking action to change the situation itself. And a lot of times, that means changing how you communicate and act within it.
A lot of this just comes down to being more direct. Instead of letting resentment build up, you actually express your feelings, respectfully. Instead of hoping someone will magically read your mind, you clearly state what you need. It's about actively working on your interactions, not just your schedule.
Okay, so what if you can't avoid it and you can't really alter it? What then? That is where our third A, adapt, comes into play. This is all about changing you, your perspective, your expectations, your attitude. It's a total internal shift.
And this is where you can get really creative. Instead of fuming in a traffic jam, maybe you see it as a chance to listen to that album you love. Or ask yourself that killer question, will this even matter in a year? So often, the answer is a big no. Letting go of perfectionism and just noticing what you're grateful for. These things can fundamentally change how you experience a stressful situation.
And finally, we have our fourth A, accept. Now, this can be the hardest one of all, but it is so essential. Some things in life are just completely outside of our control, and sometimes the only healthy way forward is to accept them for what they are.
Acceptance means letting go of that need to control everything and everyone. It means forgiving, not for them, but for you, so you can release all that negative energy. And sharing how you feel with someone you trust, it isn't always about fixing the problem. Sometimes it's just about processing it so you can finally move forward.
And that is the toolkit. 4 really powerful strategies, Avoid what you don't need, alter what you can, adapt how you see it, and accept what you can't change. This framework gives you a clear path forward in almost any stressful situation you can think of.
Now, dealing with stress in the moment is one thing, but we also need to build up our defenses for the long haul. So this part is all about the daily habits that create a strong foundation of resilience, making you way better equipped to handle challenges when they pop up.
Okay, these might sound basic, but trust me, they are the absolute bedrock of stress management. A body that's well-fed and a mind that's well-rested are your best friends in this fight. Moving your body literally changes your brain chemistry for the better, and making time for fun, that's not a luxury. It's a necessity. It recharges you. And please never, ever underestimate the power of real, in-person connection.
And since feeling rushed is such a huge source of stress, let's just quickly break down time management. Always hit your most important tasks first thing. If a project feels like a monster, just chop it up into tiny, bite-sized steps. And remember, you don't get a medal for doing everything yourself. Delegating isn't a weakness, it's a smart strategy.
We've covered a lot of ground here, from really understanding stress to getting a full toolkit to manage it. But, knowledge is only powerful if you actually use it. So let's bring this all home and focus on your very first step.
This is it. This is where it all gets real. You have the framework, you understand the strategies. So my question to you is, what is one thing, just one small thing that you are going to do today? Will you say no to something? Will you schedule a 5-minute walk? Will you try to reframe one frustrating problem? The power is literally in your hands. What are you going to do with it?